Hi everybody, this is Brian David Marshall. I'm coming to you live from the Tournament Center at the Magic the Gathering World Championships in San Francisco. I'm here with Andrew Cuneo. He's an old school player. You may recognize his name from a deck called Cuneo Blue. Maybe if you saw the World Championship decks, it was referred to as like Bueller Blue or something like that, but this is the guy who built it. Notorious control player. He's also going to be playing in the mocks later today. Yep. He's Gainsay online. You've probably seen him pop up more than a few times in the daily events there as well. 6-0 during the first day of the World Championships here in Standard, and you were playing blue-white control, but it looks like some kind of 1997 blue-white control deck to me, honestly.
Absolutely.
Was that your intention?
Well, I am old school, so when people tell you to put creatures in your deck, I right away think it's a bad idea.
Even though creatures have gotten really, really good.
They've definitely gotten better, but they still have problems.
You still managed to sneak a couple into this deck, but so talk to me about what you were thinking about as far as the standard metagame coming into here and what you wanted a deck to accomplish.
I thought that there would be lots of aggressive creature strategies, either illusions, mono red, white weenie, green white, and so I wanted to play with 4 Day of Judgments and Gideon Jura, who's also very good.
So while you don't play with creatures, you've embraced the Planeswalker.
Oh yeah, the Planeswalkers seem ready-made to not put any creatures in your deck, like, and only play with them. The only reason people don't do it more is that creatures are very good now.
Right.
But if there were, if they had printed those cards in 1998, people would have never put any creatures in their deck. They would have just played all Planeswalkers.
So Gideon Jura, you also play Elspeth Tirel?
Yeah.
So these are sort of virtual creatures for you.
Yeah, sure. I do win by attacking with creature damage, but. And
then Karn Liberated is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, Karn is very, very good. It's once you play him, and if you get to use him once or twice, you're going to win pretty much all the time.
I saw a board state earlier today where you had a Karn out with a Karn under it.
Yeah.
Did you get to start a new game with Karn?
My opponent gave up.
That's generally what happens with Karn.
Yeah, really, Karn, you almost never get to play the new game out.
Guys at home, if you just keep quitting every time someone ultimates a Karn, you're never going to know if you can really beat it. You might be able to.
I played with Karn a lot. I've never lost when I restarted the game. And we played it out. So if you're using Karn right, you should never lose if you restart the game.
Okay. So here's a card that I don't think was on most players' radar.
No.
For constructed. This is, you remember Stroke of Genius probably quite fondly.
Yeah.
So Blue Sun Zenith, what's going on here?
Well, it's a really good card. I'm not sure why more people don't play it. The deck is playing 27 land, so you need to have some cards in your deck that draw cards. And I guess a lot of people play Consecrated Sphinx, but it seems to die very easily. So Blue Sun Zenith's very good.
And how many times in a game have you played this card?
I had games where I played it 2 or 3 times, definitely today. I mean, the first time you usually do it for 2 or 3, and then every time after that it gets pretty backbreaking.
Think Twice, just pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, good card, not much to it.
Ratchet Bomb, you talked about aggro decks you were expecting, so that's obviously a nod to those decks?
Yes, it's Ratchet Bomb's a card a lot of people seem not to like very much because they think it's too slow, and I agree with them that it's slow. You sort of have to embrace that you're going to play a slow game if you want to have Ratchet Bombs. I played against Illusions 3 times today, and Ratchet Bomb is very, very good against the deck.
Sure, and it's not very slow against them because they have a lot of 1-drops, a lot of 2-drops.
And they have 0-drops.
Right.
I played one guy who had out 2 of the Delver of Secrets, and I had a Ratchet Bomb I just played on 0. And on his upkeep, he could flip them, but he only chose to flip 1 because Ratchet Bomb kills them once they flip for 0.
The Insectile Aberration has no casting cost, so.
So I got one of them, and then I played another Ratchet Bomb and got the second one.
Sure. So you do have a couple creatures in this deck. You do have 2 Snapcaster Mages, but I'm just assuming they are your 10th and 11th counter spells.
Sometimes that's true. They're more so you can get back Day of Judgment. And also most of my...
So you just bring them, you just play them to make them die?
I don't think I ever attacked anyone with them today. Also, most of the sideboard cards are instants or sorceries you can get back, so it sort of magnifies the effect of your good sideboard cards.
Okay, so I mean, the deck from here on out is pretty straightforward. 4 mana leak, 3 dissipate, 2 negate, main deck negates.
Yeah, pretty much everyone has cards that negate is good against.
And then 4 ponder.
Ponder's another unusual one. I don't think most people would put it in a deck like this because you can't really shuffle. But it is this deck you need to make your land drops, for the first 6 turns, and then you also need to find either a Day of Judgment or a Karn or something at some point in the game. So it's actually a good card, and it gives you something cheap you can get back with your Snapcaster Mage.
So for your lands, we have the 8 blue-white dual lands. We have 3 Ghost Quarters. I guess that's a nod towards Kessig Wolf Run, Moorland Haunt,
Inkmoth Nexus. They're generally good targets for it. It's
have you had to use it to fix your mana at all?
Didn't have to do that today, thankfully.
Okay. All right, another odd card here.
Yeah.
Buried Ruin. What? Tell me about it.
In the matchups where Ratchet Bomb is good, you should be happy to get it back. Not early on, but it's something. It's again, you're playing 27 land. You're gonna have too many lands a lot of the time, and sometimes you want to trade one in for a Ratchet Bomb. And there are a couple other artifacts in the sideboard.
Right, you only have 3 artifacts in your main deck. So then we have 6 plains, 8 islands, and that's your starting 60. Yeah. So let's look at some of the other artifacts that maybe you can get back with a Buried Ruin. There's a 4th Ratchet Bomb. There's an Elixir of Immortality. What's that for?
That is for decks with Nephalia Drownyard, where the plan is you want to use your elixir to keep recycling, and sometimes they mill it, so you hopefully get a Buried Ruin, and you can get it back. So you have sort of 3 shots at that every time they go through your deck, that's another card that's good against Nephalia Drownyard.
So you're not really that worried about curses here. Mostly you're looking to make yourself hexproof.
Yeah, so I brought that in against mono red decks, and I didn't play any Nephalia Drownyard decks, but I would have brought that in too.
Sure. So then we have a couple more counter spells, so a Negate and a Flashfreeze. 3 Celestial Purge.
Yeah, those I played against mono red, those are very good.
I guess this is also mono red.
Yeah, although it's as much illusions as mono red. If I had only been worried about mono red, I probably wouldn't have played that many cards for it. But that Timely Reinforcements is very, very good against against illusions. The only thing they can really do is flip a Delver of Secrets and have it fly over. Otherwise, the blockers are just really good, and Getting the Life is really good against.
So then we got a couple of one-ofs. Dismember.
That's I wanted another card that I could bring in against illusions decks or against an infect deck, which I never played.
Sure. White Sun Zenith.
That's to win control mirror matchups, and also as a way to fight Thrun, the last troll, which it doesn't kill Thrun, but you sort of have an army.
You tie it up for a few turns.
Well, you hopefully do it for 5 or 6, and you have one guy blocking while the rest of the guys are attacking, which that happened today. That's just a great card against creature decks like green-white, or I also brought it in against mono-red.
And then I imagine, is this an anti-Thrun card again? Or?
Yeah, another anti-Thrun. I wanted another 2-mana thing that was good against the illusions deck, which the plan with that guy is sort of if they flip a Delver into an Insectile Aberration, you can copy it. And they don't have very many, then they can't really target him very effectively after sideboarding. So it's just to give you a creature to trade there.
So 6-0, day 1 of Worlds.
Yes.
When was the last time you started 6-0 at a Pro Tour?
Probably never. I think I've started 4-0 or 5-0 before in the team ones.
Sure.
Other than that.
So you have 2 Pro Tour top 8s in your career, top 4s actually, because that's the Sunday cut at team events.
Yeah,
I think both New York events.
Yeah.
And again, you're playing with head of R&D, Aaron Forsyth.
Yep.
I know Aaron was watching a bunch of your matches this weekend, and he's been like, does he know it's not 1997?
Yeah.
You do?
Sort of. I was, up until 3 or 4 days ago, I was going to play a Wolf Run deck, and I just wasn't happy with it, so I went back to what I know.
So you're also playing in the Magic Online Championship Series. You play a lot of Magic Online these days.
Yes.
And what do you make of the field? Who are you looking out for?
I don't know any of the people who were playing in it.
None
So
of them were
I-
playing in
well-
1997.
No, I played some of the guys online before, and they seem like good players, but I don't know their play styles really, or really anything about them.
Okay. And then you actually, interestingly, have won a big Magic Online event in the past. You were the actual first person to win a Magic Online Pro Tour qualifier. You got invited to Worlds by Magic Online several years ago.
Yeah, I got invited to Worlds in maybe 2003 by winning.
Was that in Berlin?
Yeah, I won with the Psychotog deck, so that was a long time ago. And I won in the original beta of Magic Online. I won the first big tournament they had of that too.
So you've been on Magic Online since the beginning.
Yes.
All right, well, Mox competitors, watch out for Gainsay. Signing off for Andrew Cuneo, this is Brian David Marshall from the Tournament Center.